Hey everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle, Lord Tremendous of the Tomb Kings versus General Marcus of the Empire. I sit down with a guy, he's going to be bringing his Empire up to Rock Wars, but I'm just done prep working for Rock Wars, and I want to play my Tomb Kings. So he threw 300 points into his Rock War list, and we got a game in, because that's the way we roll, baby.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list. It has changed kind of decently, mostly the kits from the last game that I played, Battle Report 143. But yes, I still have my Tomb King, Lord Tremendous. He's still got a great weapon. He's got the armor of silvered steel, a talisman of endurance, and the other trickster shard. And I switched this up because I started talking to people on the Tomb King forums, and just kind of taking into account what they would say and stuff. And I wanted to try to use the Destroyer Worlds, but I just don't see how it's possible because your Tomb King's just going to get his face smashed in. The best I could do was give him a 4-up armor and a 6-up regen, and then that's really nothing. So I was worried about that, so I decided to stick with a great weapon. I mean, he's only initiative 3. It's not like I'm missing out on anything. The armor of silvered steel gives him a 2-up. The talisman of endurance gives him a 5-up ward, which is enough because I wanted to give him the other trickster shard because I really like that item. The talisman of endurance, I'm used to a lord having a 5-up ward save anyways, so this works out. This is what I'm used to. It's my comfort zone, and that's a good thing. I have a Lich High Priest still, Queen ELIZADEATH. She's got a level 4 wizard with the Staff of Sorcery and the OPAL Amulet. I gave her the OPAL Amulet for if she, rolls a miscast and takes a wound or something like that, or she's got a 4-up ward chance against the first wound she takes. Hopefully she doesn't take any, but for 15 points I figured it was worth it. But I am, as you can see, quickly leaning towards giving her any protection. My hero choices are a Tomb Herald, Dark Vincent. He's no longer a BSB. He's got a great weapon and the Armor of Destiny. The idea here is that the Tomb Herald goes into the unit with Lord Tremendous, the Tomb King, and soaks up 1 wound a turn from him. And with the Armor of Destiny, he's got a 50-50 chance of stopping every wound that he has to soak up, right? So that's the hope. I gave him a great weapon, so he's strength 6, so that he can actually help the skeleton unit, the skeleton warrior unit, with some punch, some much needed punch. Because strength 3, I mean, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong, it's working out. But having a strength 6 guy swinging around isn't terrible. And the fact that he's got Killing Blow come standard, that's very useful. So I'm hoping that that comes into play. Meanwhile, I have a Lich Priest that I added to my army since playing Death Holy Death, Sinister Jeffrey. He's a level 2 wizard with a Dispel scroll, and I gave him the Lore of Death. And I did that because I wanted to have 1 more dice to channel. I decided I'm not a huge fan of shooting phases. I'm not used to them. I'm not good with them. I just don't get it, really. And rather than try to relearn Warhammer, I decided to play towards my strengths, which Tomb Kings can have a really powerful magic phase, pretty much every magic phase, with relative ease. And I'm already using most of the tools needed in order to do that. So I devised a little something here. If you like it, great. If not, feel free to bash it. Either way, it's working for me. Kinda. Well, you'll see. But I used the Lore of Death because I wanted to have the more offensive stuff on him. I realized that a lot of the spells are kind of slow, or kind of short range anyway. But I was thinking if I ever run into another Iron Gut unit or Troll unit or something like that, that Purple Sun would be very useful. And granted, I've only got 2 dice to roll and hopefully roll a 6 or a double, but yeah, it's something. My core choices consist of 58 Skeleton Warriors with light armor and full command, and I absolutely love that unit. 3 Chariots with full command and Banner of Eternal Flame, and I like that one. 12 Skeleton Archers with full command, and I just lost 1 archer from that because I needed somewhere to put my new Lich Priest. And then I have a unit of 5 Skeleton Horse Archers because everyone's saying that chaff would really make a difference and it's really good to have a throwaway unit and stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what, why not? I've got the models, I'll give it a shot. So I put some together, and now I have a unit of naked Skeleton Horse Archers that just run around and are probably that are supposed to die again. My special choice consists of 28 Tomb Guard with full command and the Standard of the Undying, and I like that standard. I've got my unit of Stalkers still, all 3 of them, because that is a great unit right there. They do some damage. And then I've got my War Sphinx still with the Envenom Sting and Fiery Roar because I like the big monster guy. My rare choices consist of a Hyro-Titan, a Nad the Protector, and a Casket of Souls, because I've given up. Like I said, I'm not really leaning towards a shooting phase anymore, other than just what kind of comes with stuff I'm already using. You know, my Archer unit, which is a bunker for my my Lich Priests, and my Archers in the Chariots, and that's it. I really don't expect shooting to do anything, because I'm just not used to it. I did not get a copy of my opponent's list because it was just 300 points added to his Rock War list, and I don't want to post that again or anything like that because it's a closed list GT, and it would be rude of me. And God knows I'm not rude, you bastards. No. Here are my spells: 2, 3, 4, and 6, plus 2 from the Lore of Death, which is Boonja and Doom and Darkness, plus whatever I have on the Hyro-Titan. I did not get a picture of my opponent's spells because I forgot. I'm sorry. Here's deployment, and as you can see, I'm starting to learn to keep my stuff together. I have my Casket of Souls, which is being represented by my dragon model that was painted by Unleashed Wargaming on the hill there. I don't own a Casket of Souls. The store owner has ordered me one. It has not come in yet. Hopefully it will soon. If not, oh well, the dragon's gonna work. But I have my little baby Demonic Mountain Dragon that Unleashed War Painting painted for me, and he's going to be my Casket of Souls for the time being. In front of them is my unit of Chariots, which is right next to my big old unit of Skeleton Warriors with my Tomb King and my Herald installed. Behind them, safely hidden, is my unit of Skeleton Archers with my High Lich Priest on the right and my Low Lich Priest on the left. To the right of them is the ever-present Guardian, or Protector, if you will, Nad, my Hyro-Titan. In front of him is my unit of 28 Tomb Guard, and their job is to kick ass and take names. And I put my Sphinx out a little bit and away from the side there because I was worried about those knights coming around and trying to get a hold of my archers and kill off my Hyro-Titan. So the Sphinx stayed out there because I was pretty sure he could deal with the knights. And then my archers, I vanguarded them 12 inches, and then before I took this picture, I started my movement phase, and I moved them, they're 8 inches towards my opponent's volley gun, which is on top of that hill there, because I wanted to kill it. I wanted either the volley gun to shoot at my my horsemen and nothing important, or I wanted him to ignore my horsemen and then have my horsemen charge them and hopefully kill them, or at least break them and run them down next turn. That was the plan. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of his volley gun. There's an engineer in that unit, or next to that unit. I think it's that metal model right there. His steam tank, because what Empire army doesn't have a steam tank? And right next to them is a big old brick spearman. Here's my opponent's center. From that big blob in front of you, you can see is a unit of halberdiers, and I believe he's got a mage, a warrior priest, and a general in there. Behind them is a Luminarch and a Huracanum, and in front of them is a unit of Great Swordsmen with a Warrior Priest, another Caster, and a BSB installed. And here's my opponent's left flank, which consists of a unit of Knights. I don't know what kind. Fairly Knights. I have no idea. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Sphinx, my Tomb Guard, and my Hyro-Titan Nad. And here's my center, which consists of my Skeleton Warriors with my Tomb King and my Herald installed, my Chariots, my Archers with High and Low Priest, and my Dragon Casket of Souls, because it's kind of awesome. And of course my left flank, which consists of my newly assembled Skeleton Horseman Archer guys. So here's top of one after movement, and as you can see, I got to go first. I'm Tomb Kings. I don't move forward. Screw that. I don't even bother trying. I just go straight into my magic phase, which is this. First spell that I try to get off with 4 dice is the big 5-up ward save. He had some shooting. He had some stuff going on. I figured I would try to get it off first and foremost. And I do. I irresistible it. And I end up miscasting 5.
No! You must not read from the book!
Luckily for me, just a High Titan, or the High Priest, and the one Archer ends up dying. The ward save is able to save everyone else. So it could have been a lot worse. I do lose some dice from the power pool, obviously, but my opponent's able to easily dispel. I try to get the casket off, and he dispels it no problem. So we go to bottom of 1 after movement, and you're looking at it. The steam tank moves up a little bit after generating, I think, 4 or 5 steam points. His warriors and stuff like that, all of his infantry start moving up, but they're kind of stuck. Like his big brick of halberdiers and his tank and his spearmen and his greatswords are not going to be able to fit in that little area there. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do, because that cave in the middle there is impassable. So I don't think he realized that when he deployed. And yeah, I'm waiting to see this like hang up. Meanwhile, I'm just going to take pot shots at him and try to casket everything I can as much as I possibly can. The thing that gets the closest, of course, is his knights, which move up conservatively. His magic phase is easily dispelled by me, but his shooting phase is a little bit more impressive, as his volley gun does not fall for the ruse and puts every last round it can into the archers and blows them to pieces. So I guess that's one way to use chaff. I soaked up a volley gun's worth of shots for a turn, which is good. I mean, he could have shot at something important, but I don't know. I don't use chaff very well, and I'm not a huge fan of chaff. It just feels like that unit was wasted. But we'll see. We'll see. During his movement phase, I'm sorry, during his shooting phase, he fires the cannon on his steam tank, and he misfires, which I've actually never seen before. So yeah, it ends up taking 3 wounds from that as the boiler goes supernova inside of that, which was awesome, because now on a 8, 10, or a misfire, so he's got a 50-50 chance of misfired every time he tries to generate steam points for that damn thing, which is simply outstanding. With all the fun said and done, we go to top of 2 after movement. And for the most part, the only thing that moves is the Sphinx goes into the forest, because I wanted the Knights to charge, and if they did charge, I wanted them to be in the forest, so they took dangerous terrain checks. And to be honest with you, if anything else tried to shoot at my Sphinx, I wanted to take that -1 for soft cover. Other than that, the Hydro Titan moves over behind the Tomb Guard because my archers shifted over 2 inches so that they could get a better bubble range there, and I wanted the Hydro Titan to stay within 12 inches of both my casters to give them that plus D3. And that was about it. I'm not moving anything else because I'm Tomb Kings. We don't do a lot of marching. During the magic phase, Ned takes a shot at them with, I believe, Shem's Burning Gaze, and burns one of their souls clean off. So that was cool. You know, the spell worked. That was nice. Other than that, nothing else happens. I'm not able to get the casket off because he dispels it, and obviously I don't shoot a whole lot. I do shoot at stuff, but nothing happens. He either failed to wound or he makes the saves or whatever, so whatever you can do. So we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and as you can see, the Empire guys have train wrecked. The Halberdiers move up, the steam tank actually misfires and burns away all of his steam points, so it can't move, which means the spearmen are pretty much stuck. The Luminarch and the Hurricanum are stuck because the Great Swords are stuck. So he's got a nice little traffic jam going on in the middle there. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. If I could just get the casket to open up a few times, I really feel like I could put some damage into these guys. Meanwhile, his knights, I believe, just kind of moved up slightly because he saw the Sphinx waiting for him in the bushes. There's a better picture of my opponent's steam tank misfiring. He tried to generate 3 steam points, ended up misfiring 5, which means he loses, I think it was D3 or D6 steam points. And since he only tried to generate 3, he lost them all because he rolled like a 6 or something like that. It was awesome. During the magic phase, my opponent got a little greedy. He's got a Laura Life wizard in there, and he tried to cast Dwellers Below on my skeleton unit, which would have been great, I mean, if he had gotten it off, but he Irresistible Forced it. But he didn't measure before he tried to cast it or anything like that, and he thought he had range for the small version of it, and he didn't. So we measured it, he was like 2-3 inches shy, but he still miscast. So he ends up miscasting 7. And like 3 or 4 of his halberdier guys get smoked as they take strength 10 hits from the warp. With all that said and done, we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and again, I'm not moving. It just isn't happening. Nothing really changes. It pretty much looks the same, I know, but I have no intention of moving. I'm Tomb Kings. We don't march. I am perfectly content to sit here and try to get the damn lid off this casket. During the magic phase, I'm able to pull out all of his dispel dice. I was 1 Dyson, 2 Dyson spells that I really didn't care about all that much. Just trying to have a good time, trying to pull out his Dispel dice, and it worked. So I get the casket to open, and I destroy his volley gun. I put another wound on the steam tank, a few spearmen die, and a few halberdiers die. Actually, nothing happens to the Great Swordsman. They're actually fine. The Luminarch takes a wound, and then the Hurricanum is fine. He rolled like a 4 on 3d6. It was quite impressive. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really wish I had done that earlier. So yeah, definitely a fan of the casket. I really underestimated that thing. During the shooting phase, my stalkers take their faces and they point them right at the big shiny Luminarch. Unfortunately, the mirrored sides of the Luminarch, I rolled 2 misfires and a 6. Which actually wasn't terrible because I was still able to put 3 wounds through on the Luminarch. I rolled 3 6s on 6 hits, which is actually phenomenal. He was able to ward save 1 on a 6 up, but then I took 4 wounds? Yeah, I took 4 wounds on my stalkers, so 1 died and 1's carrying a wound. But you know what? I still love that unit. It really did well. It put 2 more wounds through only with doing 6 hits. Imagine if I had rolled decent, you know, and had like 12 or 14 hits on him. You know, that damn thing would probably be dead and I'd be charging into Hurricanum next turn. But it is what it is. What can you do? So, with all the fun done, we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and he's still trucking along. He's trying to get to me, slowly but surely. His Luminarch and his Hurricanum split up to flank both sides of the Stalkers, which is fine by me, because if the Stalkers die, that sucks, but hey, it's a lot better than him using their magic spells on the beef of my army, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, the Halberdier unit and the Great Swords and everything are getting closer and closer. So it's in fact the Halberdiers tried to charge the Skeleton Warriors this turn and failed. It was a long charge, but it was like okay. And the Knights also tried to charge the Sphinx, but failed that as well. During his steam point generating phase, he actually misfired again. He misfired a 6 this time and lost all of his steam points, and I think that's about it. But yeah, that was awesome. It was the one where it vents the steam out everywhere, but nothing was in base to base with it. So that was too bad. That could have been funny, but hey, I'm perfectly fine with this steam tank just being a paperweight for this game. There's a better picture of the Halberdier unit failing a charge, which is also good. And here's a better picture of the Knights failing a charge, which is, I would have kind of preferred them getting into the forest with the Sphinx. I really would have. During his magic phase, his Hurricanum and his Luminarch fire, their special beam cannons at my snakes and do 3 more wounds, killing another one. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, they're targeting them. They're not targeting the beef of my army. I will happily sacrifice 165 points if it means the rest of my army is unscathed for combat. And so we go to top of 4 after movement, and I go for it. The Skeleton Warriors and the Chariots charge the Halberdier unit. Unfortunately, the only unit to make it is my Chariot unit, which isn't terrible, don't get me wrong. They're going to do a ton of damage to that unit, but they just won't have the staying power. They really needed the Skeletons to make it. Unfortunately, they didn't. What can you do? To counter that, I bring up my Tomb Guard and I bring up my skeleton or my archers and everything like that to try to keep everything in that 12-inch bubble. See, I'm kind of learning. And then the Sphinx comes out to basically dare the Knights to charge it because I'm toughness 8. He needs 6s to wound me. Bring it on. There's a better picture of the Chariots making the charge and the Skeleton Warriors failing it. And there's a better picture. Oh, I'm sorry. The War Sphinx actually charged the Knights, but they failed their terror check and fled. I apologize. During the combat phase, the Halberdier unit, with that hatred, they really do a number on the Chariots. They're able to do 4 wounds to the Chariots, who got +1 attack and a 5-up ward save put on them. But I was able to kill a lot of these guys. However, I did not realize it at the time. I find out later. The unit is steadfast and doesn't break because, you know, the general's got like that 3... He basically uses the cold-blooded rule to pass his break checks. And with the BSB within 12 inches, it's not like they were going anywhere. But the Chariots do start doing some serious damage to these guys, which I'm pretty happy about. I think they shave off like 12 of these guys, so that's really good for a start. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and like I said, he has just completely traffic jammed his army in that little choke point there. So that's awesome. His steam tank, once again, the boiler erupts. It doesn't die or anything like that. It just burns away all of the generated steam points. The Luminarch moves up, and the Hurricane move up because they've kind of given up on the snake at this point. And everything else pretty much stays where it's at because it can't move anywhere. The Halberdier unit's just blocking everything, and the steam tank's blocking everything. Meanwhile, the Knights do rally, and they turn to face the Sphinx. There's a better picture of the steam tank, once again, misfiring, which is outstanding. And it burns away all the steam points it tried to generate. So that thing has just been the MVP for my team, let me tell you. During his magic phase, the Luminarch does the laser beam cannon thing on my last remaining snake and obliterates him, which, again, I'm totally fine with. It sucks that it happened. I really wish the snakes would have been able to do more. I actually forgot to shoot with them last turn, which is my fault. That's just noob, generalship on my part. But, yeah, the Luminarch blows the last snake away, which is... It's sad, but I'd rather him be shooting at that than at, like, my casket or my Hierotitan or my Sphinx, In combat over here, I'm able to do nothing, I think, because he strikes before I do, and the last two chariots drop dead. Which is fine. It's my turn next. I get to charge into the Halberdier unit, but, yeah, it is what it is. So, we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and I make another tactical mistake. I charge both the Skeleton Warriors and the Tomb Guard into the Halberdiers, and the thought here was if I charge the Tomb Guard into the Halberdier unit as well, there's no possible way they'll be steadfast. They're going to lose by dozens, hopefully. They'll only be able to stay on Snake Eyes. Yeah, they get the reroll. Yeah, they're doing it on 3d6, but hopefully I can kill his general, and then, I'll be able to turn and face the Great Weapon unit, overrun with the Skeleton Warriors into the Luminarch, maybe some panic checks. I was really, really hoping that was what was going to happen, and it turns out to really bite me in the ass. But other than that, the Hierotitan moves up just in case something gets froggy and tries to charge out of the unit into the archers, and my Sphinx moves up slightly over to the right because I didn't really know where to put him. I wasn't sure if I should go after the Knights or if I should go after the damn Great Swordsman. Really torn. During the magic phase, I'm able to get a, what's it called? I'm able to get the 5-up board save off on my Skeleton Warriors, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good because their 6-up parry is now doubled. And then during my magic phase, the casket opens, it hits the Luminarch, it takes 1 more point of damage, and then it fizzles. I roll a 2 so it doesn't bounce, but you know what, I'm still a big fan of that casket. It's unfortunate that he's rolling so low on 3d6 because that could be awesome. Yeah, then in combat, I slam into his unit of Halberdiers, and I do a ton of damage. I kill like 20 of these bastards. I think I kill his warrior priest. I think I do some damage. I put a wound onto his level 4 wizard. I'm like, awesome, dude, you just lost by. I mean, it was double digits he lost by. And he goes, cool, I've got the Crown of Command. I'm like, oh no, why didn't I think of that? So obviously he makes his 9-up leadership break check, no problem. And there's that big juicy flank for the greatswords. I never should have charged those Tomb Guard in like that. That is so stupid on my part, but I got overexcited and I made a really stupid mistake, and I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. I lost, in my opinion, I lost the game right here, and it just breaks my heart. But that's not the army's fault. That's one of my biggest takeaways from this. The army is doing extremely well against the Empire. It's my generalship that's really starting to eat things and my forgetting to do things and stuff like that. So you know what? I'm okay with it as much as I can be because I'm going to be disgusted at myself for making that mistake. I should know better. I should. So we go to bottom of 5 after movement, and yeah, you know exactly what happens. The great swords, they slam into the, what's it called? The things. The Tomb Guard. Yay, I remembered the words. And yeah, needless to say, I didn't even make him roll for the charge distance because, being 1.5 inches away is kind of hard to fail. The Luminarch, I forgot to mention during my shooting phase, the Luminarch actually did get taken down by my archer shooting, which was awesome. For some reason, I forgot to take a picture of that. Probably because I was beating myself up for being an idiot about the Tomb Guard. But what can you do? Sometimes I'm stupid. Other than that, the knights don't really move anywhere. The spearmen stay right where they're at, and the steam tank, boom, right here. Steam tank, he tried to generate 5 points because he wanted to blow himself up. And you know what? That's what happened. I'm sorry, I did not shoot down the Luminarch. The steam tank exploded and took it out. But yeah, right here, he tried to generate 5 steam points, and he misfired, and he rolled 6. So 5 plus 3 is an 8 on the miscast chart, and he blew himself up and did a bunch of damage to everything, and ended up killing off the Luminarch, doing a bunch of damage everywhere, and that was awesome. So we go to top of 6 because I forgot to take a picture. What ended up happening is I lost that combat by a ton. I ripped apart most of the Halberdier unit. I think there's only about 20 of them left, maybe less, probably in the high teens. But unfortunately, with the what's it called? The great swords slamming into the flank of my Tomb Guard, and just, oh my goodness, the amount of damage that they did. I ended up losing half my Tomb Guard, no, 3/4 of my Tomb Guard, and I lost a big chunk of my Skeleton Warriors. On the bright side, though, I killed his level 4 Wizard, and I killed his Unit Champion. So all I have left is his General, and I've been sending every attack my Herald has at the General, trying to killing blow him, and I've been failing to hit and wound. Out of the 3 attacks, needing 4s, I'm hitting once, and then when I go to roll to wound, I'm rolling a 1 to wound. So it's like, wrong end of the spectrum, but you know what? The combat, though, is still going my way. It's just, unfortunately, if I had not charged those Tomb Guard in like I did, it would have been a lot better. But hindsight being 2020, I wish I could go back in time and slap myself upside the head, you know? But we go over here to the top of 6, and the Hyro Titan goes slamming into the Great Swordsman because I need combat res. I need to do as much damage to these guys as I can in order to get combat res, and I want to kill his BSB. I want the points. It's an extra 100 points on top of whatever that stupid BSB is worth, and I want to stop his rerolls for his fear checks and his break checks and stuff like that if I can force another one. And I've just got to do as much combat res as I can just to try to save my Tomb Guard. I need 2 more combats in order to save those points, you know? Other than that, the Sphinx slams into the Knights too, which is awesome. They actually pass the terror check. There's a better picture of Nad slamming into the Great Swordsman because I'm desperate for points and combat res right now. And there's a picture of the War Sphinx slamming into the Knights because they've got to die. I need points. During the magic phase, I get super mega 5-up ward save to everybody within 12 inches of my High Priest, which is the one on the right, which is awesome because that's going to be useful. Needless to say, the Tomb Guard are not getting their parry saves from the Great Swordsman, so now they get a 5-up ward. Again, I'm desperately just trying to get combat res in these fights. The archers, this is what happened. The archers shot at the Hurricanum and put a point of damage on it, so that's not terrible. You know, I'll take that. Strength 3 against toughness, whatever the hell this thing is, and actually slipped a wound through. All right. In combat, unfortunately, with all the attacks from the Tomb Guard and from the Sphinx, I'm only able to kill 1 knight with charge and a wound to nothing. They lose this combat, but he rolls like a 3 to stay. It's ridiculous, and he makes his break check, so what can you do? Then over here in combat, I'm actually able, I think I lose this one by 1. Not bad at all. I don't kill his BSB, but with Thunder Stomps, I am able to put some serious wounds on the table. The Tomb Guard go down to like 2 models, which is like, eek! I do lose a handful of Skeleton Warriors, but as you can see, most of the Halberdiers are dead. He's only got his General and the Halberdiers left. The Great Swordsmen are going down. I've still got my Tomb Kings, you know, or my Tomb Guard in there, but I'm really nervous because I can't lose. No, not yet. Come on, combat res. But I'm still in the fight. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. So we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and there really isn't any. The Hurricane moves over to give the Great Swordsman a better chance to hit, and the Spearmen, they can't do anything, so they don't. During the magic phase, this wizard gets Ice Shard Blizzard off on my Skeleton Warriors, Irresistible, and ends up rolling a miscast 9. Which isn't really that big of a deal. He ends up taking 1 wound, but it's not enough to kill him because, you know, he's got like 1 more, which is frustrating. During the combat phase, I'm able to do one more wound to the knights. I actually remember to use my flaming breath on these guys, and unfortunately he makes all of his armor saves, which I was trying, but one more guy dies, he loses by one. No, actually he doesn't lose by one. He's got a banner and a musician all of a sudden, so yeah, he actually wins this one by one because banner to wound, he's got a musician. I lose by one, but I'm an arcane construct, so I take one less, so nothing happens. And then over here in this combat, now that they're two separate combats, his great sword wielding guys flub. One guy, one Tomb Guard dies. My Hero Titan is able to kill 6 of the great swordsmen, and he puts a wound on to the BSB for 7. And I think the one remaining Tomb Guard, which is my unit champion, is able to kill one of the great swordsmen. And that's it. I win this combat. I think that, or I can't remember what happens, but I think I win this combat. He obviously doesn't break, but the Tomb Guard don't die, which means one model left. I keep those points from him, which is so huge. And then over here in combat, he returns the favor, and he's able to keep 2 halberdier guys live, and his general lives. I actually challenged with my Tomb King, and I rolled a 1, a 2. No, I rolled 2 1s and a 2 and a 3. But with Ice Shard Blizzard, I was at -1 to hit, and I needed 4s anyway, so I needed 5s. So yeah, I completely flubbed. So his general was fine. He's not able to hurt my general at all, and the the halberdier unit actually survives. Hindsight being 2020, I should have just I should have made way with the Tomb King and just tried to kill a bunch of his halberdiers. But rolling what I rolled was just terrible. So it is what it is. They actually end up losing this combat, but they're stubborn on cold-blooded, and they make their break check. So I kept my Tomb Guard, he kept his halberdier unit, and there's the end of the game. What an amazingly fun game, though. The Tomb Kings are really good. I'm really enjoying this army. I've still got a lot to learn about how they work. Sending my Tomb Guard into the flank of that unit of halberdiers was so incredibly stupid. But I've learned not to do that again. So yeah, next time, right? Other than that, though, it was a blast. I cannot even begin to tell you how much fun I had playing this game, especially with this army, which I kind of go into it expecting to lose. But you know what? We're going to get into the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Hey guys, I know I've already talked to you about this before, but you should really check these pictures out because they were all painted, including my model, by Unleashed Wargaming. And they have their email right up there at the top of the page, and they've also got it down there. They got a YouTube channel. He's working on a website. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, really, if you get a chance, check these guys out. If you're looking for someone to paint your stuff real good, seriously, check these guys out. Go to his, send him an email, check out his YouTube page. It's really worth your time. It's a phenomenal job. It's quick, it's painless. You don't have to worry about painting your stuff. And soon I'll be running a model that these guys painted for me, and I'm very excited about that. But check out these pictures. Give this guy an email. Check him out on YouTube. Get your models painted by him if you can. It's totally worth it. And tell him Tremendous sent you. All right, in the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up getting 859 points, and he ended up getting 455 out of me, which was awesome. I ended up losing my chariots, my horsemen, archers, and my stalkers. That was it. Almost lost the Tomb Guard. It would have been a draw, but hey, almost lost the Tomb Guard there. I'd rather be lucky than good any day, you know what I mean? He lost his level 4 wizard, 2 out of his 3 warrior priests, his volley gun, and his luminarch, and his steam tank. He also lost his steam tank. But you know what? That was a really, really good game. I enjoyed that. It was nice to see what the Tomb Guard or what the Tomb King army could do against Empire. I see now why in all the stories the Empire's usually getting steamrolled. That was kind of fun. But let's hear it for the Noblars that made that steam tank boiler, huh? That was just outstanding. You know, they're the real MVP. The Casket of Souls is the pwn. I 150% understand why everyone's like, it's a automatic add to any Tomb King list. Agreed. Agreed. I enjoy that item very much. Yeah, starting to realize that the Herald is still pretty useless. Was hoping Killing Blow would help me out, but really it was just a crutch. It really didn't do anything. So I think after this game I give it one more chance, and if it doesn't do anything, I'm probably going to throw him away. And I'm going to do what people have been suggesting and put a Prince into the unit of Tomb Guard just to give him that weapon skill 5. And, you know, the Curse, even though it's only D6 Strength 4, it's D6 Strength 4 after the fact, so it still might be fun. The Empire General having the Stubborn Crown threw me off bad. I really should have thought of that. I really wish I had. Throwing the Tomb Guard into that unit of Halberdiers was just supposed to be, like, all-consuming. Supposed to just finish them off completely so that I could turn around and deal with the Great Swords. And it would have worked if it hadn't been for that Meddling Crown, or if my useless Herald would have actually Killing Blowed the General. But I guess I was asking for too much, and I've learned something. So it is what it is. What can you do? The Skeleton Archer Horseman and me, I don't know how I feel about them yet. I'm gonna give them another turn, you know, another game. You know, I don't want to just, okay, well, one game, it didn't work out, screw off. I know it's only 2 games, but you know what? The list is evolving, and if you don't put up, you're gonna have to be, well, put up. So I don't know how I feel about the Skeleton Archers. They did absorb one big old volley from the volley gun, but the volley gun's range isn't all that great, and it's not like I was ever really moving up into it, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about those things yet. I'm gonna give them one more game, and I'll make a decision then. But the final battle, where 1 Tomb King and 2 Halberdiers survived, was mind-blowing, because if those Tomb Guard had died, we did the points, it would have been a draw. If the Halberdiers would have died with the General and everything like that, even if the General survived, if the Halberdier unit had died, it would have been closer to a massacre for me. So that really hung in the balance. In the end, I was lucky and I was able to get the final, you know, I was able to swing it in my favor. But oh my God, is this army fun to play. The Tomb Kings are a great army. If you've ever been thinking about playing them, do it. Don't shortchange yourself. No break checks. Everything causes fear or terror. You've got Killing Blow all over the place, even though Heralds don't like to do it. You know, you've got some really strong magic. You've got some really cool models. You can't go wrong with these guys. You really can't. And I'm just absolutely loving it. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report number 144. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.